There was a program that I ended up watching the other night, simply out of boredom, and it featured a child prodigy who is now only 13 years old. Etienne began to paint at the age of 4, and her work is so beautiful and so lifelike, it's hard to believe that she wasn't taught to create these masterpieces. What was highly interesting, however, was that her earliest memory as a 4-year-old was a conversation that she claims to have had with God, who simply said, "I want you to paint, and not to worry about what and how to start and how to finish." A majority of her paintings are of Jesus and depict him as we have become accustomed, and she also has had visions of heaven, and she paints those as well. Her parents have never been religious and never exposed her to a Bible or any illustrations of Jesus prior to her painting her first extremely lifelike work. And this got me thinking about the reading that we've just heard from St. John, where Jesus paints the picture of himself as the gateway for the sheep, and we as the sheep who recognize the voice. This young girl had no way of knowing for sure that the voice that she heard was the voice of God. And yet, in her slight hesitation to find the word God as a way to describe who and what she heard, is the part that I found most interesting. The sheep follow the shepherd because they hear and they know his voice. It's a profound metaphor which has stood the test of time in a generation where shepherds, as a reality for many of us, has faded as society grows more accustomed to animals in farms and on supermarket shelves. The world may change, but God never does, holds true. And maybe, just maybe, this is why this metaphor and countless others will continue to teach us the nature of God and about ourselves. People rebel, just as sheep do. But those sheep who truly listen to that voice recognize that rebellion isn't really a true option. It is a voice that not only continues to reverberate with instruction, it is a voice that so very deeply operates at the heart of who we are, that to deny it is to also deny ourselves. Etienne, though quite obviously gifted and labelled as a child prodigy, is really no different to you and I. We all have gifts and talents with which to serve God, and they are all extraordinary, and they shall play their role in testifying to the beauty which exists in our God. If you'll forgive me, I'd like you all to just look at your hands as I continue on for a moment. Have a look at those hands that have served God in some shape or form in the years that you have been alive. Those hands that enable you to create and make manifest ideas that you had once held, and because of your hands have now brought into existence. Hearing the voice of the shepherd is only but a part of the process. Listening is to bring that voice into existence for all to hear and to see. And our hands, our being, enables this to happen. Our being enables us to speak of the unseen God who is very much alive in his creation and in our work, which is his. And Jesus speaks quite literally when he makes the stunning claim that he alone is the gate, and all that came before him were thieves and bandits, and the sheep did not listen to them. The people of God run from the stranger's voice and towards the one whom they recognize. And this recognition leads to a life aflame with endless possibilities. In many ways, it is the story of the prodigal son all over again, where we know that even if we run into trouble or even run away, the very fact that we have run away from somewhere invites the possibility of a return. That voice is one that promotes discovery. It opens the door to trusting, and which says it is okay to be you. The hands that have held and nurtured babies, given generously to charity, nursed those who have been sick and have died from COVID-19. The shepherd who is not bound by time as we may be. After all, 1,000 days are like a day in his sight. Continuously speaks to us regardless of our postmodern circumstance. The unique God-given talents that all people have, whether aware of it or not, are actually enhanced when the distinguishing voice translates into, "I have called you by name and you are mine." The gateway of Christ which illuminates all that we do and gives its meaning. Not every one of us is called to be Picassos of our time, but what we are called to do is to follow. Obediently, sure, but that is not altogether the point. Obedience becomes secondary to the joy of following him whom we were intended to follow. The call may well universally begin with the words, "I want you," but from then on in, the words will differ according to who we are and our prescribed purpose. And perhaps even so, those three first words, "I want you," will also be the last which highlight the simplicity of it all. I want you. Amen.